Good day everyone, I'm Jonalyn Boncayao, your reporter. Today I'm discussing about creating my classroom remote learning management plan. At the end of this learning episode, I must be able to: the first is explain the importance of my classroom management plan. The second, enumerate the components of my classroom management plan. And the third, write my classroom management plan. And lastly, use professional reflections and learning to improve practice. So, what is a classroom management plan? A classroom management plan is a plan that teacher designs that sets the expectations for every student. The purpose of a classroom management plan is to make the students accountable for their actions. Effective classroom management increases students' success, enhances students' academic skills and competencies, and promotes social and emotional development. So this is a ways of organizing the resources, pupils, and helpers so that the teaching and the learning can process in an efficient and safe manner. The teaching learning process may be implemented in various modalities. Teachers must bear in mind that alternatives and other options may be considered in the designing classroom remote learning management plan. A good learning environment produces highly engaged students who learn more, do more, and work more. Teachers likewise become more creative and productive in their work. And now, I'm discussing about key elements for effective classroom management. The first one is classroom design. A classroom design refers to setting arrangement, bulletin boards, display, storage area, equipment, supplies, and etc. Number 2 is rules. These are the expectations set at the beginning of the class to foster love, care, respect, and sense of community in the class. Number 3 is discipline. Classroom rules must define the consequences of every action, misdemeanor in class. This will ensure fairness and consistency in dealing with the students. Then 4 is scheduling. This includes time allotment given for each period and activity in class. Number 5 is organization. This refers to the systematic arrangement of files and records and keeping them organized, always and ready for use. Number 6 is instructional techniques. These are ways by which you implement your learning content. Tailoring your techniques to the subject, grade levels, and nature of the learner is really important. And the last is communication. Consistent open lines of communication to all the stakeholders of the school community will lead to better teacher-student, teacher relationship. So, in order to implement these elements effectively, a classroom management plan must be designed. Each teacher has its own unique style of management to meet class needs, although the same elements are found consistently. In order for a classroom management plan to be successful, the students must have a complete understanding of each of the guidelines. The components of classroom remote learning management plan and the guide questions. The first one is philosophical statement. What is your set of ideals, values, beliefs, and goals? And classroom remote learning management. And the next is classroom rules and procedures and their guide questions. What set of criteria and or standards will you set to judge the quality of your classroom remote learning environment? And what classroom rules and procedures will you formulate to ensure discipline and order in your class? Teacher-students relationships and their guide questions. How will you treat every student in your class? How will you interact with them? And how will you ensure good interaction between and among students and superiors? And under schedules and time frames, this is the guide questions. How will you organize your class schedule? And how will you keep your students to stay focused on the task? The next is classroom structure design and arrangement. And their guide questions is, how will you design your classroom to create an appropriate learning environment? So of course, for you to create an appropriate learning environment, we must be able to design our classroom by making the following rules that can be used depending on the needs of your classroom. The next is classroom safety rules and procedures. And their guide question is, how will you ensure the safety and security of your students? And what rules will you formulate to safeguard their protection? And lastly, the strategies for rewards and consequences. What strategies you employ for rewards and consequences? These are the steps in creating your classroom remote learning management plan. So here are the steps in designing classroom management plan. So first, you must creating the plan. Second, implementing the plan. Third, monitoring the plan. And lastly, is improving the plan. So here are the steps in creating classroom management plan. The first one is creating the plan. It is an idea of how to do something, a method of something, and furthermore, creating a powerful plan always begins with having a clear purpose, vision, or goal in mind. It is designed to take you from wherever you are right now directly to the accomplishment of your stated goal. With a well-designed plan, you can achieve virtually any goal you set out to accomplish. The next is implementing the plan. So when we say implementing the plan, it is the process that turns strategies and plans into actions in order to accomplish strategic objectives and goals. Whereas the strategic plan addresses the what and why of activities. Implementation addresses the who, where, when, and how. Then the next one is monitoring the plan. It is a written plan that describes what will be monitored and how. It is based on existing monitoring mechanisms and sources of information, and collects only as much information as is used by the project team. And the last steps in designing classroom management plan is improving the plan. This is one of the most important part when it comes in planning. Of course, we need to improve it, especially in achieving our goals. So before I end my report, I will present to you a short video presentation so you can watch it.
Hello and welcome to Teachings and Education. Here we will cover several different teaching strategies and teaching tips for remote learning. The first thing you need to do is set up behavioral expectations and clear rules. Watch how chaotic an online class can become without rules and enforcement. Next, you have to be available. Be logged onto your computer, ready to answer questions. Even though students are not physically in a group, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't work in a group. Cooperative learning is key to life success and should take place online. The best teachers are the ones that make learning fun. It might be more difficult to do from afar, but make an effort to make class fun. When posting online assignments, be sure to have a certain level of cognitive rigor in those assignments. Use Bloom taxonomy and Webb's depth of knowledge when designing assessments. Teachers should provide various types of content. This includes posting sections of text, videos to watch, news articles, PowerPoints, Google Slides, presentations, etc. and so forth. Don't try to hold lectures in an online format. Students have hard enough time paying attention to in-person lectures. Next, teachers need to provide ongoing feedback to their students. This also helps establish your presence online while helping students make the correct adjustments. Develop a rapport and form positive relationships with your students is arguably one of the most important factors to teacher success. Get to know students in an online setting. Activities should be engaging for all students. Teachers must structure assignments so that they are challenging yet achievable. Even in a remote setting, teachers should try and show their personalities a little bit. Students want to get to know their teachers. Online conferences are an important part of remote learning. Now, when I talk about video conferencing, I do not mean whole class video conferencing, which has led to many problems. In a remote setting, assignments should be clearly written and well described. I suggest always posting examples of well done finished products. Because teachers are not present and able to be an on-site content resource, teachers should provide a number of different resources for their students, which they can easily do through links. Study skills should be integrated into the course. Remote learning requires students to use study skills in pursuit of knowledge. Back and forth online discussions is a great way to get all students participating in the classroom. Teachers can create critical thinking threads to be answered. In remote teaching, educators become more facilitators of learning. They should afford students a certain level of autonomy, such as choice assignments. And lastly, remote learning teachers have a responsibility to brush up on new technology and to know how to use common technology tools. Anyway, right now I want to say thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like and share this video, and check the description for resources as well.
So thank you for listening and have a nice day.